like tonight because of the breakdown that he had for whatever they are, 3-pounders, 4-pounders.
That's fine.
If
we're getting more for a little bit more money, that's fine.
Yes.
That's fine.
Yeah. But like Tim said, he and I have a meeting scheduled
That's
for
fine.
tomorrow.
Tim's
so-
call tomorrow.
Okay.
We're gonna go through it one more time.
That's fine.
So that's where we're at with that. Obviously, last week I had let everybody know that we did secure Sabre Health, $5,000 there. Beyond that, I still have.
That's the nursing home.
That's correct. That's being it's being built on Rockside.
They're new to the community. They want to get their name out there.
Correct. And actually, the part of the reason why I chose them was because of the fact that they were new, and it's a great time, great opportunity for them to get some advertising in. So they were all about it. They couldn't say no. They were really happy. SABER.
It's not SAB, I mean, but
I'm pretty sure it's SABER.
yeah, I looked it up on
Oh, it is?
SABER.
Okay. Yeah, so I don't know if it matches a name to somebody or what.
Did we decide if we're going to go one night or split it in 2 nights?
Well, that was a discussion that we've had, and right now I believe we're leaning on the one night because of the main factors that we talked about were the amount of shells that you were going to get for that $5,000. To split those up, Tim and I were just talking, if you had an 18-minute show each night and you split that, it's $5,000, so you're only going to get what you're going to get. If you split that up, it'll be like one goes off. So, hey, Jeff, how you been? Everything going good? Up there goes the second one. We just felt like one night to do the program.
And it's going to be 18 minutes long?
No, we were just
okay.
using that.
Just
Yes.
Okay, gotcha.
Yes, I put that on.
And I assume we're scheduling for Friday, so that.
Everybody, so we can do it on Saturday.
So that's where we're at as far as home days. Working very diligently on that. As you know, we eliminated the side stage, so we were able to save some money there. We renegotiated with some of our entertainers that we've had in the past, able to get 2 of them to come in a little bit cheaper than I had. So I'm trying to work very, very hard to keep that in mind, budget in mind for that.
Do we have any luck with volunteers? I know we talked about that in budget hearings.
Yes, there's an amateur radio club in our area, Mr. Moore is a part of. They have volunteered to assist with the parking of the vehicles, and that takes a major strain off of me for collecting volunteers because of the man hours it takes to do that. So yes, that was big. We have had 2 volunteer meetings, and it's been mostly the same people thus far, but we're anticipating continued growth with that, as well as some community service from the mayor's court.
Congratulations on the senior fair.
Thank you.
I couldn't believe how many people were there. We had a ton of people.
Thank you.
How many vendors you had?
97.
Wow. Yeah, you did a hell of a job.
Thank you. I don't know.
And it's a good service for the seniors too. It's a great service for the
It's a
seniors.
great service for the seniors. I don't know if we discussed in our last meeting that we did the concession stands at Calvin Park. We had a community service project. I don't believe we did. So we had a community service project on Memorial Day weekend where we painted the pop stand, we weeded the field, we raked the leaves. We had a lot of volunteers. Of course, several of you at the table were here or volunteered to help, and that's always appreciated. We got a lot done. The concession stand is beautiful. It really looks really, really sharp. So
Jack got the paint donated for that, right? Was it donated? I think it.
Sherwin-Williams.
Yeah, $1,600 for $338. Thought that's pretty good. All industrial, all base.
Yeah.
How's that?
yeah.
I'm trying to get it out of my.
Our next run will be Valleywood Park. By the end of the season, I'd like to paint that. Get another project to paint that concession stand. And then we have some smaller upgrades that we're talking about doing inside, just to clean up the
I talked to Wayne Kessie. He said that they're going to be doing that in 2 weeks.
Valleywood.
Yeah, so I'm really excited about that.
Good. I still am in need of paper products for food pantry. So again, if there's any paper products.
You're talking toilet paper, tissue.
Yes,
Oh.
toiletries essentially, yes. And then I was expecting John Walsh from Brilliant Electric. He was going to come to discuss, he thought he was going to be able to make it to come and discuss the sign. So I submitted the paperwork in regards to the sign, as for the upgrade being double the original quote that they had given us, and they were the lowest bidder the first time around. Any questions I can answer in regards to that at all?
I mean, he was supposed to be here tonight, or?
He said he wanted to try to come here tonight in case you guys had questions that he could have answered, but I can certainly relay anything to him.
How much are we up to now?
It's like,
Was it 43?
43 roughly, yeah.
It's not bad, really.
That's what the extension.
What we looked at was, you know, the original sign, replace that. And then, that was roughly 20.
20.
And then, you know, I was looking at, you know, some of the churches along Broadview Road, and their signs are a little bit larger, quite frankly, than what we have out there. So, what I asked Tony to do is ask this guy to quote us if we, you know, bumped it up about a foot or so, and Mark said that that was, you know, within our ordinance and, you know, all that. So, but the problem was if you bump it up a foot, that structure on top, the city logo, you know, our seal, well, that whole structure then has to be modified. So there, a lot of that cost is in that modification. It's not the lights themselves, because they come in 8 by 12-inch panels, so you can stack them very easily, but you have to take off the old structure around it and replace it with a brand new one. That's fabrication of that. And then also, they're still not certain if there would be any problem attaching it, but they seem to think so, but you never know. So.
And if I may, their concern with attaching it was that there are 2 rods in there now that maintain the unit size that's currently there.
Right.
Their concern is, well, we don't know, you know, what's there. It won't be able to hold something substantially larger.
So,
Wind load and all that. So,
Right. And so it was 20,000 was the quote for the first piece, and as he told me, it was about $3,000 to $3,500 for the sign replacement, the upper parts that we talked about. So basically, to double it in size went 20,000. So the reason why it didn't go from 20 to 40 is they had roughly 3,000 factored in for the Seven Hills.
right. But I mean, it would be a nice sign.
Well, I have to say, it's got to be better than what it is now. I think we got ripped off on that one. I don't know when that was done. That was before I was.
That was the top of the line technology that was built.
And it was. I know it was very expensive because that was a big topic back then.
Especially with electronics. I mean, you wait 30 minutes and there's a whole new.
Yeah.
But that thing really hasn't worked very well from the day one that it was put up there. So if we can get something bigger for, it's not like column kills. I mean, they can put a lot of information. I mean, they put all their information on one screen. Ours takes up 3.
Well, this one is, you know, the electronics today are very versatile. You can actually put video. You can put video on there. You know, obviously the multicolor and the different font sizes. So there, and you can, let's say that we have an event that's going to occur in July. You can program it in and set a start date and an end date, and so you don't have to, you know, do it like right then. You can, you know, as they come in, you just set the timer and let them go.
Where do they control the site from? Your office?
No, that would change due to the sight line. That would most be efficient for that would be the rec center. So there's now currently it's my office.
Okay.
But it uses a telephone line.
Right.
You
So
have,
it just use, okay.
you have
so-
to go out over a modem. So now the news sign will go out over radio. We won't need the telephone line
okay.
anymore.
So there's no hardware and,
Nope.
good.
So we're saving on telephone.
So you got a telephone line.
And then we can interface it with our IT system.
Yeah, my understanding was then, you know, everybody could tie into it. You know,
Do we have a contract for that? Take notice.
But for the IT,
For the sign itself, we do.
We do, that was the gentleman who had anticipated the meeting today, John Nichols.
Yeah, we have a quote, we don't have a contract. We
You
have-
say contact or
Contract.
Oh, I'm sorry.
So if we don't change the size of the sign, so that we don't have to redo the outside, how much information, because it's now smaller, right? The new technology, the font's a little tighter. Did I not understand that?
Mhm. Yeah, it's more
So-
clear.
So how much information can we put on it?
I'm gonna defer to Mark and Tim, who met with John, in regards to the first quote.
They gave us two options with the spacing of the LEDs. So I would recommend going with the tighter spacing so we have better clarity from the distance. And then just depending on what font size you want to use, depends how many lines you can.
And we can change the font
Yeah.
size?
Yes.
It's not necessarily, it's not as fixed as it is with the lamps that are in there. So, and of course they're LEDs, so they don't burn out or anything.
It's gonna give you, I think, what is it, 19 inches in height now, and we're gonna go up another foot. So, you know, that's the difference in the amount of information you can put on there, roughly.
Plus you have the resolution to do video
Right.
that we
If we
just
go-
can't have
if
with
we
the
go
sign we have.
For $23,000.
Sorry?
That's if we have to do video, we have to do the larger size,
No,
right?
no,
No, you can still do the little, the
Okay.
the size we have now, it's just, you have
Okay.
smaller video.
It'd be real impressed. It would look better on a bigger screen.
And am I right, is this being paid out too?
Yes, Jack tells us we can pay for this out of the streetscape TIF.
But there could also be other things that we would want to use that TIF for. So my question is where we want to double the cost of it or more than double the cost of it is my only question.
When I had a conversation with John Walsh, I went down to Brilliant just to learn about the signs, and he said that our sign, well, he gave me an anecdotal story about a church that had fish fries, and they put this new sign in, and they said that they got double the people attending their fish fries because the sign was such an, was attractive and noticeable. And he said that our location on Broadview Road is absolutely outstanding, and he said there are a couple things that I would say you always should put on your sign: the date and the time. And he said people will rely on that as they go down Broadview Road. They'll check their watch, see if they're running late, and make sure of the date and all that good stuff. But it also draws their attention to the sign every day. He said that's something that he recommends, that we certainly should have scroll on there.
You can probably hook it up to an atomic clock too, so it automatically sets. Fort Collins, Colorado, the military has a system where you can, by radio, update your, so it just happens automatically every 24 hours.
So having met with him and having had the conversation, do you think that it would be money well spent to make the sign bigger?
I think so, yeah. Just personal observation. Take a look at our sign now. This is what everyone should do. The width of it and the height of it. And then just drive down Broadview Road and look at all the church signs, and you'll see they're slightly larger. They're about the same width, but they're slightly higher. And, just the clarity and, the eye-catching ability of those signs is really good. Not to say that if we left it the way it was, the same size, it wouldn't, be an improvement, but there's some value, I think, to that. It'd be great, it's a great way for us to get the message out to the community. And then I went down to Brilliant Sign, and just to give you an example of their expertise, they did the new scoreboards at Gund Arena, and they take care of everything at Progressive Field. And then if you just saw, Progressive Field's going to do a $20 million scoreboard next year improvement, so I'm sure I'm going to guess that that's probably Brilliant Sign that's going to put it in. So what we're asking is small potatoes.
Yeah, it is. They're big, they're huge company.
They did the Humongotron, which
They're huge.
is the largest indoor arena in the country, largest indoor arena in the country.
Okay, where do we go from here then? We've got- get him to do up a contract?
We'll have, yeah, if, you know, what we can do is we can, you know, bring it back one more time, and, you know, see what everyone thinks, if you had a chance to look at things, if you want to
And
stay.
if he can come with maybe samples.
Yeah,
He
well, that's
has,
what sounds good.
photos. He has some real nice photos. In fact, I went out to Maple Heights Middle School, and that's where I saw the real effect of the video. Now theirs is very large. It's probably the size of that ward there. But they had video of, you know, the kids and activities, and it was absolutely gorgeous. You know, and they did all the work, all the brickwork, and it was gorgeous. But that thing was about, I think, around $80,000 or something like that. So, you know, it's pretty impressive when you look at some of the things that can be done to it. So it's just a matter of, you know, what council's appetite is. And again, it comes out of the TIF fund, and that's a minimal, very minimal impact. And it's a annual revenue source.
I definitely do miss it being there now. I mean, you can only see it from one side, and it's kind of, I think it's old information in still, I think, too.
No, it's updated.
Is it?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's the bad thing about the weekend is everything that rolls through the weekend here.
Yeah.
Where, like Tim said, on this other one, once it expires and would go right back to date and time, or, you know, whatever your
Or whenever
preset
you
is.
expand the program to
Right.
come in
Exactly.
on Monday morning, it would already be programmed. The programming part is really nice. And having an updated one, we need. I'm all about that. Having to tear the whole thing apart to make it larger, I'm not sure, but
Should I ask for him to meet us at our June 15th? Would that be sufficient, time-wise?
Yeah, we should see if we can get him in for next. Can you attend Caucus?
On Monday the 8th?
Yeah.
Okay, I'll attempt to get him for caucus on the 8th then.
You know, tell him 15 minutes.
Perfect.
And I think that we are also responsible for cabling from the unit on the roof into the network.
Correct.
That was excluded in
That's
the bid,
correct.
wasn't it? Yeah, so that's probably another $1,000, just so you have the total picture.
We don't have to do that, but then we'd have to put a laptop in the rec center.
Right.
The cost is cabling from where it's attached and into
The network at
the
the rec
network.
center.
What price range are you?
20,000 to replace it as the size it is, 43 to replace it at double the size.
Correct me if I'm wrong, at 43, we probably gotta advertise.
No, under 50 you don't have to.
I thought it was 25.
every time. Every time you say that.
I know.
Well, it's
we do this every
25,000
day.
for, yeah.
I didn't want to say that, but I said half.
Yeah. Anything else?
What was the cost of the regular?
20 43.
Roughly 20,000.
Okay, I will adjourn at 6:22.
Thank you, everybody.
Tony.
Yeah.
Sorry, you got a shirt there.
Thanks.
Public Works is in at 6:23. I got one pay application for, looks like cold patch for this coming year, correct? $10,000. Quotes here. And that's for, and you actually have it written up as an addendum to consent agenda number 1 from last year, so. Same price.
Make a motion on consent finance.
Second.
updates you wanted to go over?
I do. I'm sorry, I was looking for an email to help, or another update. Here we go. All right, a couple things would be Chatham and Essex is complete. What we have left there is a punch list. That should be happening within, I hope, within the next month or less. The punch list just consists of a few pieces of curb that they broke when they were rolling it. The roller hit a couple spots. So there's not a lot to do left, but there's a little bit left to do out there. Mailbox got knocked down. They owe that gentleman a mailbox. A couple little things like that. So all in all, they did a pretty decent job. There's a little bit of cleanup left. We will have to see how the seed comes in and everything. Especially with this big rain we just got. Sometimes that washes half of it away.
Oh,
So
yeah,
we'll see.
Oh,
Pinnacle, we hope to advertise starting next week. So we'll advertise a couple of weeks. So we should have a bid opening roughly in 3 to 4 weeks from now. I guess closer to 4 weeks from now. 2015 street program. We'll start that bid package, and we hope to advertise it starting at the end of this month. That's roughly 3 to 4 weeks away, and then we'll start the bidding. The catch basin program, we're down to 10 basins that are still left to be done. The gentleman working on it, Pro Construction, or the company working on it, thinks they'll have all but 8 done by the end of this week, and those are at 5 locations. So a couple of them are like 2 right by each other, so that's why it's really 5 locations. That's 8 basins that'll be done. I was just glancing here. The one on Broadview, I know that was brought up, or Mr. Frondorf was asking, I think, when that would be done. That's supposed to start this week yet,
Okay.
so it should be done soon.
Okay, I saw
Where
the
are
one, the one on
I'm sorry.
Diana. Just on Broadview, and then there's one on Diana that I see they started.
Yeah, Diana's, they start. Yeah.
Okay, great.
Do you have the list of the other ones that are on the list to be completed?
To be completed, if I, yes, I. With me for a second, and I will. To be done are 2 on Jasmine, 1 on Sparrow Flight, 2 on Magnolia, 2 on Wind Tree, and 1 on East Sprague. That one's off to the side. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4. Yeah, 5 locations, but 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So 8.
2 on Jasmine, 2 on Magnolia, 1 on Sprague, and I missed the other 2 streets.
Oh, I'm sorry. 2 on
It's my fault.
Jasmine, 1 on Sparrow Flight, 2 on Magnolia, 2 on Wind Tree, and 1 on East.
There's one on Broadview, just 20 feet north of Evelyn, that's starting to kind of cave in. I'm gonna check that out. That's probably gonna be a problem because it's right on Broad Park.
Okay, about where that again?
Right by the veterinarian.
By the bed.
You're talking about Southwest Floors.
No,
north of that.
A little north of that.
Didn't we have something with the bus problem there?
Yeah, we did,
Something
we
with
redid the pad
There
there.
was something there?
I vaguely
We
remember.
redid the bus pad there.
Check it out when you drive by.
And near the bed, do you have, is there a cross street close to
Evelyn.
Yeah, we redid that pad because that pad, the bus pad was all collapsing. And we just did it last year.
Was that last year?
Might have been 2
2
years.
years?
Yeah, it was when they did Broadview Road.
But I remember it was a leftover. You know, it was like it was something that didn't get done or needed to be redone.
Okay. And then one other item, Mr. Frondorf, myself, and Jack Moga went out and we walked the pond that's near Somerset Lane. And we looked at it and it's fake in different locations, or different things are wrong with it. I feel there's still a good amount of storage in it, however, it's not doing what's supposed to do completely. A lot of the storm pipe that is going under the edges of the pond, where the pond would go, the dirt would be mounded around to hold the water in. There's pipes that, like, there might be a catch basin at one end, then a pipe, and then a head wall, for instance, to let the water into the pond. At those locations, some spots, the head walls were coming apart, or the pipes were separating, or things like that. So there's just things going on out there. Another issue is where the water is to enter the pond from, there's like a big wooded area behind it, and it all comes into the pond. That area, it's bypassing the route it's supposed to take, and it has like carved a channel, and now it's coming in and causing sediment to fill up a portion of the pond. I would like to look for a grant. There's a lot of grants for green things now. So I'm going to see if I can find a grant for that. So most of this is to let council know that I will be looking for that and see if we can't find a way to repair this for less than it probably really would cost.
You're a guest.
Yeah.
Look for a grant.
Other than that, I think that covers everything. Anybody have a question for me?
Anything else for Public Works?
I'd like to ask, there were emails around and discussion about the fact that you're thinking of hiring a landscaping company. We had talked about this last year with Stewart, and Stewart was not interested in that at all, wasn't interested in administering it, I think is probably the worst problem. So you said in either last week's meeting or in the emails, I lost track of where I got this, that you're thinking about doing that. I think most of council was, was very much for that before, if I remember correctly, because it would be billed to the resident, to the owner of the property. They're usually vacant. Are you still looking into that?
Yeah, I'm gonna work with Mark Morrow on that, and it's been kind of busy, but
One meeting?
my goal is to try to wrap that up maybe by Wednesday or Thursday. So I got 3 people, and I need 1 more. I got the name, so I'm gonna try to put it together, get a plan of attack with Mark. I think it's a great idea too. I mean, when we have an abatement that the grass is real high rather than the city or the search department going down and require these people, and talking to Mark, we're gonna rotate them too, so everybody gets a piece of the pie. So I think that's a great idea, because some of our equipment that we have, you know, I just don't want to put my guys in someone's backyard with 6 foot of grass and that would ever happen. But the abatement, I think, is a good idea with the other companies.
We would need a contract with these companies, right?
I'm sure, yes. We'd have to check the ordinance too, to make sure that it's gonna be, we're gonna be able to pass through. They can't just, blank checkbook to charge whoever they're doing.
So I think you need to work with Rich also.
Oh, yeah,
And we're gonna need a little kitty to work from, too. So we
Start
can gain
the
a con,
process.
right, start it, that's what we get it. Cause, it's about a year before you get the,
It'll end up being
Yeah.
a pass-through, but
Right.
there will be upfront charges, and I understand that.
But we have to be careful too that we don't be,
Please remember to turn off cell phones.
we don't want to become a lawn maintenance service.
I understand that, but we're doing that now.
Well, my point is that this should not be a way for a property owner to just basically walk away from their responsibilities. There should be a price to pay for this.
Oh, I agree.
How much is it
Either you
now?
guys,
it's, cost plus for whatever the service. They charge for every truck, every man, every piece of equipment they take out, so. I mean, like the mayor said, it's not gonna be a substitute for it. We wanna make it so it's much more expensive to use our service than their own service.
This is another thing that the contractors, they need to be bonded too.
are we inventing this program? Do we know of
Well,
another city that does it?
Well, my question is, why not have this city do it? I mean, it's something
I'm
that we
saying,
do
are
with
we
snow.
inventing the program, or are we?
Well, we're gonna invent the program for.
So no other city does this that we know of?
Not that I know
I mean,
of.
We can look at that.
Yeah, we're gonna have to look closer.
I can't tell you, one of my other communities, they charge $250 to come in each time.
And it's city employees that do it.
$250. Yes, the city does do it.
City is
Newburgh Heights.
And that's about what we are. We're in that price range, depending on how big the lot is, and how much time it takes. But yeah, it's not cheap.
And I'll be willing to bet some of the cities on the east side certainly do it, they contract it out. Just gotta have that feeling.
Well, I think the point is they were trying to get away from if something needs to be cut, services, other things to do.
Oh, yeah,
Rather
I
than
agree.
pulling the riders off and,
Right.
a lot of times the big riders that we had, you can't get in someone's backyard with a small gate and stuff. So this is something, I don't know if we're inventing the wheel, but it's something just like we did with snow plowing for the seniors. I mean, we're gonna have 4 contractors, we're gonna rotate them. We'll have to talk to Richard, get some language, and we're not doing them a favor. If this contractor's gonna go cut someone's backyard, they're gonna pay for it. So,
That may be a good place to start for the same people that are doing the contracting for the grass cutting program. They're here anyway.
and we're looking for people that work that cut grass in Seven Hills anyways, people that are reliable, not just the average Joe Schmo off the street that is a flyby guy.
What kind of administrative fee we tack on? 15%?
Something.
Definitely.
I think at least $25.
I think
I think
it'll go
percentage.
Well,
15, 20%.
you gotta watch about making profit, though.
Why?
Why?
We're not allowed to run a business.
Right.
Just
You
to
know,
make money.
you should charge an administrative fee.
Yeah, fee,
Reason.
not a little side business.
No, you can charge an administrative
Well,
fee.
I think what we gotta understand, it's something that these people that don't wanna cut their grass or people that own homes, cut your grass. And it's not that we're making a business, but it's something that's an eyesore in our city, and it's something like, we're controlling this. I mean, it's,
Well, I'll just add this in, when I was working, if we cut a PO for any service, it was $100. That's what it cost to get through the system. To print it, to people to sign it, to receive it, to, whatever. It was $100, that's why they always said, don't go out and, throw a PO for, a $10 something or other, because we're spending $100 just to get the product in here. So we've got to be careful how you do that. So $100 is not unreasonable.
Okay.
Anything else for comment?
I don't know if it's Jim or Jack. Can we get striping on Crossview? Not only is that part of the contractors, because when we had right after we did the street, we had that big water main break, so now you've got a big area where there's no line striping.
Oh, I'm sure they'll come back and do that. I can't guarantee it, but I'm sure if we ask them, they'll come back and do it.
Can we ask them? If not, maybe can, I don't know.
they already did the crosswalk at Bayberry and Ridgewood. So I think that's something that we could talk to them. They're bending over backwards. I could bring it up, or we both could bring it up and talk to them.
I think they did Ridgewood too, and I think they did Glen as well.
Sometimes they phase doing the lines. I know that sounds funny because they use different types of paint sometimes to do different line work.
Okay.
So that could be part of it. That we're waiting on the right crew to come.
Okay, that's fine. I just don't want it to get left out.
And that might be on the water department's crew too, right? Not so
that-
much the crosswalk.
That isn't who put that patch in the.
It was the water department repair.
The water department did the repair, but the same contractor who did the project came back and did the patch for the county. So I think it's all been painted by the county.
I just want to make a point of working with Terry. He's really come back. There's a lot of people complaining that their aprons were not wide enough and stuff. And I get an email and I go out and I meet with the resident, and he's really done a good job taking care of that. Also, he's also gonna crack seal everything on the house. If any crack that was happening with the heaving of the roads in the wintertime, he's gonna redo all that, I mean, and crack seal everything, so I'm kinda happy, so, hopefully the grass comes out.
Anything else? The county's really turned it around. They used to be a little less reliable, they're becoming, we're finding much more reliable, so that's a good thing.
Motion to adjourn?
Second.
Aye. Public Works Committee out at 6:40.
Rules convening at 6:40. And I'm sorry, I forgot to bring this up at my last meeting. The noise about mowing on the weekends. My notes were a little garbled. I think we finally decided that Saturdays we would change it to 9 a.m. like the weekdays, and Sundays it would be 9 a.m.
Correct.
Okay. Do I have a motion to change ordinance 55503 to allow people to mow starting at 8 on Saturdays and 9 on Sundays? Second? Aye. Okay. It's on the agenda. Next thing is chapter 723, waste and garbage collection. Mark did work on this to do some updates at our request, adding a definition of authorized agent. Everybody's got a copy of this. On page 1, it's item C is an update